Now we're going to move on to honor Dr. Harry Rhodes. He needs no introduction here at the college. He was one of the founding fathers of Chesapeake College and a pillar in this community for many years. Dr. Rhodes is a native of Queenstown. He attended Washington College and received his master's and PhD from the University of Maryland, College Park. He taught in Montgomery County for many years before coming back to the Eastern Shore in 1952 and becoming the Queen Anne's County Schools superintendent, and then finished out a tenure at Anne Arundel Community College, where he served as the dean of faculty. So he was very busy professionally, but in his civic life as well. He has an extensive resume on civic and community engagement, as he served as the director and board member of the Memorial Hospital at Easton. He's been the director of the Queenstown Bank for 32 years. He's on the board of the Queenstown Town Commission and is active in the Chester Y Foundation, Queen Anne's County Historical Society, Midshore Community Foundation, and has been United Way chairman. So we're very appreciative for all that Dr. Rhodes has done and contributed to this community. The first year that we had done this event, Dr. Rhodes came up to me and he gave me a $20 bill and he said, "Young man, sign me up for the Alumni Association." And that was our first donation. So we can thank him for helping found the Alumni Association here at Chesapeake College, as well as founding the college itself. So Dr. Rhodes, thank you so much, and we'd like to invite you to the stage to present you with our award.
Thank you, Dr. Rhodes. The State of Maryland Proclamation from the Governor of the State of Maryland, tribute to Dr. Harry Rhodes, April 25th, 2013. Whereas Dr. Harry Rhodes devoted his entire career to the advancement of knowledge and the purpose of education as both an educator and administrator. And whereas Dr. Rhodes is heralded as a founding father of Chesapeake College, as he helped lay the foundation for its establishment. And whereas Dr. Rhodes has remained a staunch supporter of the college throughout its nearly 50-year history. Whereas Maryland offers its sincerest congratulations to Dr. Harry Rhodes on his recognition as the 2013 Chesapeake College and Friends Association Pride of the Peake recipient. Now, therefore, I, Martin O'Malley, Governor of the State of Maryland, do hereby proclaim April 25th, 2013 as a special day of tribute to Dr. Harry Rhodes in Maryland, and do commend this observance to all our citizens given this 25th day of April 2013.
If you can't hear me in the back, raise your arm. Thank you. Good thing you didn't. Yeah, take that. Good. Take it away. I want to be one of the first to congratulate the senator on being honored here tonight. Things that have been said about him are certainly true. But Senator, there's one job that I do want you to fulfill for me, not tonight. I want you to tell me how in the devil you get your picture in the paper so often. When I heard that the two of us were being honored, just for honoring us, I kept count for 2 weeks. He had 7 pictures in 14 days. Well, 12 days because Eastern paper doesn't publish, I think, on Saturdays. I've known a lot of politicians, men and women in my life, but I've never known one could get his picture in the paper as much as this one that's just been honored here. Keep up the good work. You're doing an honored job. I want to also confess to something else that happened here tonight. Well, first, let me You better go sit down. Let me assure you, I was not given any 5 minutes deadline. So if you're getting restless already, you can get going. But I did want to read my what old Sagittarius says today. Says no answer is often the best answer. How true. Don't let someone push your buttons. Anybody's gonna push my buttons. Or allow yourself to become marred in a situation where you're compelled to say something unkind. Close the door on arguments. And really and truly, something went on here tonight that most of you weren't aware of, I'm sure. I brought even without his parents knowing it, I brought my little 3-year-old nephew down. When he heard at home that Uncle Harry, he had a little trouble with the letter H, Uncle Harry, that Uncle Harry was coming to college. All that I could hear from him was, Uncle Harry, college, me go college, me go college. So I started work with him. And I thought, they can't start him too young. So I started him to say, no pay, can't stay. I walked out the front door twice to look for him because I turned him loose for his caretaker for the night. And my Lord, he had some man but a coattail pulling on it. And I was wondering what was going on. And one of the people out there said, he had this man going up and down the street here, and he got in an argument with whether he had to pay to come in here. That he was a friend of both of the guests that are being honored here tonight. And he said, so I thought I'd teach him something to do. So I taught him this, because he was pulling on this fellow's coattail, keep saying, says, pay, no pay, pay, no stay, pay, no stay. So I got the woman that brought him down there to take him home. I knew he didn't want to go on too much with that. I do want to congratulate, though, your being honored here tonight, and certainly rightly so. I want to say a few words, though, tonight about the beginnings of this institution. I just can't believe what's taken place here in this college. And when I think back about, first people ask me, how did you get interested in community colleges? Well, it's very simple. I got interested because I worked in Montgomery County from 1935 until 1952, with the exception of 4 years when I was out in the Navy during the war years. And Montgomery County launched the first community college in the state of Maryland. I was principal of a school in Montgomery County, and I became interested in what a community college did. It didn't make much sense to me, a community college, and I made it my business to look into it and found out the type of service it rendered. And as a result of that, I became interested. And then after leaving Montgomery County in '52 and coming to the Queen Anne County as superintendent of schools, after I got the school system organized and put together and did a lot of consolidation, I began then to think about the need being fulfilled in the county of establishing a community college. And that's how it got started. And we got a group of people together and talked about it many, many, many meetings, as you can imagine, to start talking about starting a community college here. And I just want to give just a few facts, and if you get tired, I don't mind you getting up leaving. But one of the first things we found when we started on the idea of establishing a community college we were a lot of people against it, and in particular some of our local four-year colleges, because a community college to them was going to steal their professors away from their college, which was ridiculous. And the colleges that were that way and had that feeling didn't know any more about what a community college was than a jackrabbit. And we didn't pay too much attention to that. Most of those people felt what they needed was a branch of the University of Maryland. And the University of Maryland was running, as you know, one branch at that time on the Eastern Shore, and you couldn't have found a worse school than that school was. I wouldn't say it today. It's a whole lot different school today than it was at that time. But we were blessed at the legislature because there were many people that, after being 15 years as a superintendent of schools in the county, I must have gone before every committee meeting they held in the college. And in those times, you had to go make yourself known, state your cause, and go from there. And therefore, I had made a lot of friends in the college. And at that time also, Louis Goldstein, comptroller, he was a classmate of mine in college, roomed with him 1 year. There was Harry Hughes, late governor of the state of Maryland. There was Fred Marcus, and was a member of the Senate. There was Senator Bob Dean from our county. William James was president of the Senate, and we weren't going into the legislature as people unknown. So that helped us a lot at the time we were trying to get to college. So finally, on December of 1965, the Assembly met and passed legislation creating the first regional community college in Maryland here on this cornfield you were sitting on tonight. As a result of that, the college was run for a number of years by the boards of education. We had 4 counties when it started. Dorchester couldn't join, they were too poor, so they said. I could tell you a long story about that, but I won't. I might embarrass some people here. But the 4 counties got together. In fact, after we got the thing and got a site, and Lord behold, after getting the legislation to create a regional community college, we had a piece of ground. We didn't have any buildings to hold classes or anything of that nature. And we started classes in the comprehensive high school that I had built in Queen Anne's County and occupied 1 year. We turned the school over to them in the evening, and they started having classes the first year for this college at that high school, starting about 5 or 6 o'clock in the afternoon and going till going to midnight that night. By the second year, we had the first building ready so that we could come home and have it here where it should be. The Board of Education, or I should say the Board of Trustees of this community college at that time was made up of the boards of education of those 4 high schools and those 4 counties. There were 16 members, 4 of them being superintendents and being ex officio members at the time. And then when I left the county in 1967, retired as superintendent of schools in 1967, I had to leave the board at that time, and I went there from there, as was mentioned, over to Anne Arundel Community College. I went over for the purpose of starting non-credit courses and ended up for the first semester was up being a faculty, and spent about 6 or 7 years there. And when I came back to this county is when I again picked up interest in this college and have followed it through ever since. And there have been very few activities that have taken place in this college that I haven't been involved in some way. Well, like I think it's the night after tomorrow night, the county course, I believe, meets here. Well, if it does, I'll be here. And I've gotten so well known in that respect. When I walk in the front door, everybody's taking tickets, always call me by name, glad to see me. The one or two other things that I want to mention, because they were really starting points for the college. After we had the ground and we started looking around and realized, some of us, we didn't have any room for expansion. And we had some members on the committee wanted to condemn all the properties from the site out here to Y Mills and take all of those buildings. Well, that didn't seem to make sense to me, that upstart community college going down and condemning properties down the road adjoining them, so we forgot that. And began to look around. I said, we ought to get this point of land over here. Oh, said, that belongs to Mr. Heidi Hammond. We've talked to him and he won't let you have it. And I said, let me go over and talk with him. And that was mentioned here somewhere tonight. He was a bachelor, had a sister, Miss Bessie Hammond, who was a school teacher. He happened to be coming out of his house door, and his brick home was right across the highway here. The house is no longer there. He happened to be coming out the door. I didn't even get in his house. Came out and he got in his car with me, put me in his car. Had no heater, no air conditioner. The handle on my side wouldn't put the window down. It was a damn cold evening. And he smoked one cigar after another. I was almost asphyxiated. And I told him, I said, Mr. Heidi, I just stopped by to say hello to you. Well, that was a lie, but I told him that. And I said, you know, they're going to start a college across the road. Yeah, he says, I guess they know what they're doing. I didn't agree or disagree with that. And I said, it'd be nice if you'd give them that point of land. No, don't want to get rid of that point of land. We talked a little more. I said, the college would buy that point of land from you, don't want to sell it. And we went, I said, well, Mr. Heidi, you sell that point of land to the college, they'd name a building after you. Don't want a building named after me. I said, well, they'll name Lisa Street. Don't want a street named after me. And you know, I was beginning to run out of excuses. And I said, well, Mr. Heidi, I said, you know, traffic on that highway is getting worse and worse all the time. And with the college being built, it's going to even draw more traffic. And as a result, it isn't going to be worth you taking the chance of crossing that road with a piece of equipment to till a little piece of land like that. I said, we'll be cleaning you up with a shovel out in the road being run over. And I said, secondly, the value of your property is going to go up. And I said, third, when that college does begin to expand and they have to get a piece of land, they're going to condemn your property. I'm no judge, but you're going to lose the case. I can tell you that right now. And I know it was over 2 hours. And he finally said to me, he said, Harry, he said, I've known you all my life. Says, I watched you grow up. He says, I don't want to get rid of that land, but go and get a surveyor, have it surveyed, and I'll sell it to him. That's how we have built, the college has buildings already built, sitting on that point of land. It didn't, because we were very much squeezed for land here at that time to expand. So that's how we came into the size campus that we're operating in today. And then we got the first building built and moved in, and I think it was in 1967 or so, they came along with the second building, the technical center, and then gymnasium, and more buildings came up along the way from that point on. and the trustees were still being the trustees of school, of the public schools, as well as trustees for the college. And finally, we went to Wheeler Baker, who was in the House of Representatives at that time, or delegates over at Annapolis at that time. And we said to Wheeler, Wheeler, go down and meet, get an appointment and go down and meet with the college board of trustees and try to sell them on the idea that we need to do away with this, get disconnected from the school system. Let the college be the college and run itself. And I said, we warn you ahead of time, it won't be a pleasant meeting. Well, Wheeler did come down. I'll take my hat off to him. But when he came home, he said, boy, you don't mind what kind of pond you drop people in, do you? I think they gave him a pretty good going over about why they didn't want that to happen. And at the same time, it came along that the 1974, I think it was, when the board started appointing, or having the governor appoint 2 members from each county to take over. So after retiring after 15 years and spending what little time I did over in Ronald Community College, which I enjoyed, I came back here and started getting connected with different organizations and being part of it and couldn't say no. And when you listen to these people up here talking about Harry Rhodes did this and this, Harry Rhodes didn't do this himself. If I hadn't had people like I have in this audience tonight that did give me support, not all agreed, but I don't mind people disagreeing. That I think is what really puts forth the challenge for you to go ahead and do things. But you can't help but admire an organization like has gone through this college. And if any of you are not too familiar with this college, you want to get a catalog and just see the type of offerings and what they're providing. I would suggest that this institution probably has done more for a greater number of people that live in this general neighborhood than any organization that's been formed on the eastern shore of Maryland in the last 50 years. This college no longer is sitting here on a cornfield. They're out in these counties, have these programs going on. I just learned here in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been looking at the catalog, my gosh, they're having a program this year on how to operate a motorcycle. I've got a nephew who already has offered me his motorcycle. I got to get signed up now or to get on these motorcycles, learn how to drive a motorcycle. But it's unbelievable, and certainly the major part of the efforts that's been put into what's happened to this college and how it's grown and the kind of programs it's been undertaking and still undertake goes to the people who have been in the administration, the president's assistants, as well as the faculty members, the workers, and all the people who have worked and supported this community college. You name the program, and I'll guarantee you'll all find something like that going on here in this institution. So certainly I take my hat off to those people and ask that you continue giving support to this college such has been given. Then the other area that you can't dismiss is all of the trustees and all of the people that work with the college and for the college credit because they worked as a team and they haven't been afraid to go ahead. And any time I step my foot on a piece of ground that belongs to this college or in a building that belongs to this college, and that's been many times, I get a feeling of goodwill that I was part of the beginning of it. And just think 2 years from now, I think it is, they'll be celebrating the 50th anniversary. And I looked on, happened to dig in some old files the other day, and pulled out the 25th anniversary. You were here that time, to give a proclamation from the governor. You were a delegate in the legislature. I gave a talk on that same, and I just left the old program, I think, down there on the table. I gave a talk from cornfield to college. People thought I'd gone nuts, sure enough, you know. And a lot of people think I've gone that way a long time ago. But anyway, you just, when you see the growth and what's taken place here, it's fantastic. And I take my hat off to all of the people who have given us hands. I can remember so well the day legislation passed creating the first regional community college in the state of Maryland. My saying to our ex-governor, Harry Hughes, who at that time was a majority leader in the Senate, I said, Mr. Hughes, you know Eastern Shore, that section of Eastern Shore better than I do. You know we have a lot of poor people in that section, and they need help. You're going to need help. I said, see what you can do with the legislature, with a regional community college. We put in 25%, and state put in 75%. The old original formula was 50-50. And I can remember Mr. Hughes saying to me, he said, boy, that's a tough nut to crack. I said, well, try it. I said, that's what makes good politicians. I never asked him how it was done, but he had it done. It's still in effect, isn't it, today? So they're the kinds of things that took place that many people don't realize, that there were trials and tribulations back in the days of getting the college started. But the growth that is made is just unbelievable, and the friends it's made, unbelievable. And one of the great things that ever happened is when they took the running of the college out of the hands of the public schools and put it in the hands of the college people. You can't blame each other then. So it was a great thing that happened that way. And I guess for personal benefit, my own personal benefit, it's provided an opportunity for me to get to know a lot of good people. Now, when I say good, I have that in quotes. But I have met some fantastic people. I've gotten to know them. Some of them does business. I do business with some of them today and look forward to continue doing business. So that's not something that you can just leave out and pass away. And somebody said to me, well, you think everybody's your friend. I know everybody's not my friend. Some of them have told me that, but didn't pay much attention to it. So you can't let a little thing like that knock you down. We have people here from Ohio tonight. We have people here from North Carolina tonight. We have people here from Chicago tonight. God knows where else you're from. I don't mean they've just come in here for this. They heard they're going to give a politician notice, and Harry Rhodes is supposed to be on the program. That's the way it goes. So thanks, and thank you again. And for all of you who are here tonight, I want to especially thank you for coming out. They told me, somebody here, some worker here told me they had 122 people that had tickets to be here tonight, and the room would only seat 124. And looking around, darn if I don't believe it, tell me the truth. Thank you very much. Thank you.